Chapter 31 The auctioneer was stunned. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Deal. As the word deal fell, everyone in the hall felt dizzy. What kind of auction did they experience? The original price was 10,000, and it soared 35 times. It became 350,000. Do you want to be so crazy? And 350,000 high-grade spirit stones, how long will it take to save them? A shocking look looked at box number 2, gasping for air, secretly speculating that there must be a terrifying big man sitting there, so terrifying that even box number 1 avoided his edge. Soon, the old man in box number 2 took out 350,000 high-grade spirit stones, exuding extremely rich spiritual energy, and was sent to the auction venue by the waiter. And Xianhui and Wang Jinglong's storage bags were also sent to the old man in box number 2. When his fingertips touched the storage bag, the old man was both grateful and excited. He was grateful that he was strong and threatened with force, otherwise how could he get these two strong heritages? Excited, extremely grateful, the more he touched it, the more excited he became. His hands and feet trembled, but he didn't open it to look. He put it on his body and escaped from the auction house in an instant, then broke through the air and left the underground city. He knew that there were many powerful people in the black market, and their favorite thing to do was to join forces to kill. This time, he had bid for the legacy of a powerful person, and the news would surely spread soon, and then it would be inevitable that he would be killed. One killer is fine, but if there are more, it is inevitable that he will be overwhelmed. I'll leave first as a respect. To avoid more trouble at night. Soon. He returned to Mangdang Mountain and hid in a secret place. Then he began to check the storage bag. Black leftover, underground city. Squeak. The door of box number 1 was pushed open, and the owner walked in respectfully. He had taken off his hat, revealing a resolute and smiling face, and said respectfully, "Senior, I have lived up to your trust." Although Su Changge was excited, his face was calm, and he said, "Bring it." A box was handed over, and when he opened it, it was full of white top-grade spirit stones, a total of 450,000. When the beautiful woman saw so many spirit stones with her own eyes, she was stunned and trembling with excitement, thinking, "Hiss. Thanks to me, otherwise how could this fool earn so many spirit stones?" That she stared blankly at the huge amount of white spirit stones, and was satisfied. A full 450,000 top-grade spirit stones, even if she did nothing and squandered them, it would be enough to squander for half a lifetime. Thinking of this, she stared at Su Changge secretly, and sneered in her heart, "This time I must have gained trust." The owner of the auction house smiled and said to Su Changge, "Senior, since you traded such a large amount, you enjoy a 10% discount, which just reduced the previous money for the demon wolf and bracelet. It's not much, so you don't have to worry about it." Su Changge nodded. The owner of the auction house took out another card and handed it over, saying flatteringly, "Senior, this is the highest level membership card of my auction house. With this card, you are the biggest customer of our store. I hope to make friends with you." Su Changge took the card and looked down. He saw that the card was very thin, but very heavy. It was made of pure gold, as if it was cast from real gold, shining and dazzling. "Okay, I'll make you my friend." Su Changge said lightly. In fact, he also wanted to make friends with this owner. After all, who else could sell 2 bags of garbage at such a high price? If I have no money in the future, I will come to him to make money. Isn't it nice? But before I even opened my mouth, he took the initiative to come to make friends with me, which is exactly what I want. Hearing that the other party agreed to make friends with him, the auctioneer was delighted and his face was flushed. "Senior, my nickname is Black Dragon. Please come more often in the future. People in the black market don't use their real names, but nicknames." The owner also knows that the cloaked figure in front of him will naturally not reveal his real name, so he introduced himself, hoping that the other party can remember him. "Okay, since we are friends, then I will give you a gift first. This demon wolf belongs to you. Take it." Su Changge waved his hand and sent the silver-backed flame wolf out directly. Ah! The silver-backed flame wolf let out a roar, and knew that it was sent out, so it tucked its tail and returned to the auctioneer. The auctioneer was stunned, as expected of a senior. He came up to give me a gift after just saying a few words to me. Such a generous attitude, worthy of making friends. Thank you, senior. Black Dragon is grateful. On this side, the beautiful woman raised her eyebrows. What a fool, you just met him and gave him a golden body monster directly. What a big fool. She cursed in her heart, furious. Where is the true love in this world? The owner of the auction house is just afraid that you killed someone from Taishan Dao's sect, so he tried to please you. If you hadn't killed someone from Taishan Dao's sect, he wouldn't even bother you, but you gave him such a terrifying monster directly. Damn, fool. At this moment, in Su Changge's mind, the system subsidy arrived. Ding. Chapter 32 Critical Hit Reward, Sun Devouring Tengu. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ding. You sent a silver-backed flame wolf, and the tens of billions of subsidies took effect, triggering a super critical hit. This super critical hit multiplier, 368,000 times. Congratulations to the host for getting, sun-eating dog. Dog? Su Changge's heart moved and he immediately checked the system space. In that gray space, I saw a huge creature entrenched in the void, as high as 100 floors. It had a pair of wings on its back, and its body was surrounded by red and purple-green lines. Its eyes were gentle, but also exuding bloodthirsty killing intent. This is a snow-white dog, extremely noble. It exudes a terrifying aura, and the whole air is trembling under the pressure. Su Changge took one look and was immediately overjoyed. A dog is actually a dog. He had heard of the dog eclipsing the moon countless times, so he thought it must be such a terrifying dog. No, this dog should be far more terrifying than the moon-eating dog. This is the sun-eating dog. Eating and eating have the same meaning, but they are very different. Devouring means devouring, crushing devouring. As for eating, chew it carefully and slowly. It seems that this dog is so fierce that it may even swallow up the sun. You guys go out first. He waved his hand aside. Yes, senior. The owner of the auction house walked out. The beautiful woman glanced at the box full of spiritual stones, with an undercurrent of greed in her eyes, and then followed Su Changge's instructions and walked out reluctantly. After they left, Su Changge entered the system space, looked at the dog from a distance, and laughed loudly. Awesome. The next second, the system sound suddenly sounded. System prompt: the sun-eating dog is one of the ancient demon gods. His body contains the blood of ancient ferocious beasts. He has the power to move mountains, turn over rivers and stir up seas. When it grows to its full size, it can swallow the entire sun in one bite. Worry. Su Changge's eyelids twitched. You really get what you want. You can swallow the sun in one bite. This is a blast. But while he was excited, he also noticed a detail of the system entry. When you grow to a complete body, you can swallow the whole sun in one bite. That means it's not complete yet. Su Changge was frightened by his guess. Such a terrifying dog was not yet complete. He tried to sense the breath of the sun-eating dog. Backland. Blurted out, this dog is actually only at the first level of the back realm. However, the aura that was inadvertently revealed on his body was terrifying and intimidating, and he could faintly fight and swallow mountains and rivers with anger. Then if you cultivate it yourself and feed it various elixirs, wouldn't it be possible to cultivate it to a complete form very quickly? Su Changge's mind was working rapidly, and soon, a development plan took shape in his mind. At this moment, he suddenly discovered that this dog seemed to be female. Ouch! The sun-eating dog also saw him, and roared. His eyes became extremely gentle, and the aura on his body became much more restrained. Suddenly, Su Changge's eyes widened, with a hint of disbelief in his pupils. He saw that the dog turned into a young woman, with a graceful figure and a colorful gauze. She walked step by step and walked in front of him. Her clothes gradually changed, from colorful gauze to red, and her appearance also began to change. Transformation, becoming beautiful and radiant, walking step by step, as if crossing eternity, crossing immortality, resurrecting from ancient times. breaking through the chains of time and space, and coming to him. Master. She called softly as she walked. Changge was slightly startled, but quickly came to his senses and said, "Can you transform into a human form?" "Yes, master." Changge's eyes lit up, and he saw that she had a snow-white complexion, a tall figure, and a graceful figure. She looked like a peerless beauty, and even more like a beautiful landscape when she walked, only, there was a fluffy tail sticking up in that part behind him. Owner. Soon, the sun-eating dog came to him, and Changge only felt the fragrance of a woman coming to his nostrils, accompanied by a numbing voice, which made people feel like they were in a peach forest in spring, making people feel comfortable and wanted to shout. "From now on, you can call me Chi." Changge gave her a name so that it would be easier to call her in the future. "Yes, thank you master for the name." The sun-eating dog grabbed his hand, placed it in his palm, kissed it, and then said softly, "My lord, your palms smell so good." This is the smell, after all, Chi is a dog. When meeting his owner for the first time, he needs to smell the owner's scent and then remember it. Changge naturally understood this, and immediately with a thought in his mind, a large handful of the holy marrow cleansing pill appeared in his hand, saying, "You have a low cultivation level, take this holy marrow cleansing pill to wash away all the impurities on your body, that what he lacks the most is this. He needs to wash his teeth first. Only after they are thoroughly washed can he develop them, right? This is also the first step in development." "Thank you, master." She took the holy marrow cleansing pill, a total of 19 pills, and opened her red lips to take it. Changge knew that such a terrifying monster from ancient times must be much stronger than himself. He only needed 2 pills to cleanse his marrow, but she would definitely need more. But it doesn't matter, there is no shortage of this stuff anyway. Boom! After entering the elixir, a terrifying aura suddenly erupted in the body. The surrounding situation changed rapidly, violent winds rose from the ground, the void surged, tornadoes struck, and surging earth energy surged in, all of a sudden. Shi's spine became straight, and the golden spine could be vaguely seen through the clothes, like a dragon propped up, and the blood, bones, and skin all transformed into a light golden color. Under the powerful power of the medicine, the fragile barrier in her body was instantly broken, and her cultivation level soared. Boom! Breakthrough. The second level of the back realm. The third level of the back realm. The fifth level of the back realm. The seventh level of the back realm. The ninth level of the back realm. 19 marrow cleansing holy pills only allowed her to break through to the ninth level of the back realm. Changge was slightly surprised, but soon understood, the ancient monster must have much higher resources than himself to break through, so it is normal to only break through this level. From another perspective, this is a good thing. The harder it is to break through, the stronger it will be after the breakthrough, crushing others. "Master, I feel the power in my body erupting, like a landslide and tsunami." Shi Jiao snorted, and rubbed his nose against Changge's body, as if he was smelling the smell. Calm down for a while. Changge exited the system space and prepared to leave the auction house. He put all 450,000 spirit stones into the storage bag, then opened the door and walked out. The beautiful woman was waiting at the door. When she saw him finally come out, greed suddenly appeared in her eyes, but she quickly concealed it. Changge pretended not to see it and said lightly, "Let's go, leave the black market." At the same time, Mangdang Mountain, a hidden place. "Damn it! You're looking for death." With an explosive roar, a terrifying pressure swept across, like a bright sun, sweeping around. The old man in box number 2 was almost angry to death. He spent a lot of money and threatened box number 1, and finally won the 2 storage bags. As a result, opened it and saw. Damn it! He was so angry that his lungs were about to explode. He spent so much money, but he only got some garbage. Although those skills were from Taishen Dao sect, they were far from worth the price. These skills, even if they are large, can be topped up with 10,000 high-grade spirit stones. But he spent the price. Calculated, it is a total loss of 440,000 high-grade spirit stones. The old man thought about it and still felt something was wrong. The problem is likely to be with box number 1. Why did box number 1 suddenly increase the price so much? It must be to lure him into a trap. I vaguely remember that 2 figures came in the middle of the auction, one of which was the voice of a young man, who entered box number 1, and then, these skills are inseparable from box number 1. Boy, dare to deceive me, I will skin you alive. That the old man moved and disappeared. The next moment, his figure appeared directly in Mangdang Mountain. This is the exit of the black market. He will stay here and kill Su Changge. Chapter 33 Xiao Shi takes action. Instant kill. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Stab it. There was an explosion at the entrance of the black market, as if a formation was operating, and an invisible force wrapped 2 black-robed figures back to the ground. Boom. Ripples appeared in the void, and several powerful figures emerged. You are really punctual, please return the hat. A powerful figure said expressionlessly. Su Changge took off his bamboo hat and handed it to him, and the beautiful woman did the same. Immediately, there was a fluctuation in the void, and the powerful figure was about to disappear. Suddenly he sensed something, raised his eyebrows, and said, "We have a good show." In his perception, a terrifying aura was approaching. Boom. Suddenly, birds in the sky screamed, and sand and rocks flew on the ground. The earth was shaking. This kind of scene is no stranger to powerful figures. Many people will be intercepted and killed as soon as they leave the black market. There is no way. Who can make people rich in the black market? He's seen this a lot. You too, you may be gone, please be mentally prepared. A joking voice came from the mouth of the powerful figure. He was not optimistic about Su Changge. After all, the cultivation level of the 5th level of the golden body is completely insufficient in front of others. As for beautiful women, there is not enough to see. At this time, the beautiful woman's pupils suddenly shrank, and her face turned as white as paper. An old man with white hair appeared in front of her. There was no aura fluctuation on his body, but it caused the sky to change color and the ground to collapse layer by layer. Snapped. The white-haired old man struck out with a palm, and a terrifying oppression suddenly broke out, impacting her body instantly. Puff. The beautiful woman spit out a mouthful of blood and flew out. Her face turned pale, she vomited blood, her chest heaved violently, she struggled to speak, and she was hanging with her last breath. You bitch, how dare you lie to me? The white-haired old man was furious, glanced at Su Changge with fierce eyes, and said angrily, "You too, don't even think about leaving today." Boom. A tsunami-like coercion erupted from his body, sweeping past like wind and clouds and waves. The white hair of the old man was fluttering, his eyes were scarlet and blood-stained, his face was ferocious, and he was extremely crazy. He was approaching Su Changge and looked down and said, "Hand over the spirit stone. Let you die happily." Finished, waved his hand. Boom. The terrifying pressure gradually increased, radiating in all directions and blocking all routes. The pressure in the air increased sharply, like a tall mountain hanging overhead. At this moment, sounds of whoosh, whoosh, whoosh kept coming from all around, and many figures suddenly appeared. When they sensed the pressure when they appeared, they were all startled, and immediately looked at this scene. An expression of gloating suddenly appeared on his face. These people are all people who came out of the black market when the time came. It's clear at a glance what's going on. Suddenly someone exclaimed, It's Patriarch Huiyun. Oh, it turns out to be him. Why am I so scary? Ancestor Huiyun is a strong man at the peak of the Dharma realm. That guy in white clothes is going to fall. There was a lot of discussion, and many figures had sarcastic expressions on their faces, looking at Su Changge as if they were looking at a dead person. Ancestor Huiyun, the ancestor of Huiyun Cave in the South Dao territory, is both good and evil. Sometimes he is bloodthirsty, sometimes he is kind and happy, and his character is moody. Those who are targeted by him never end well. Either he was crushed into a bloody mist, or he was tortured to death. Crack. The pressure continued to increase, and the ground suddenly collapsed, sinking hundreds of feet downward. The white-haired old man walked past like a god of death, approaching Su Changge step by step. He came to him in a blink of an eye and said bitterly, "Why, you didn't hear what I said?" Su Changge's face did not change and he said calmly, "I just didn't hear it." "Why, do you have any opinion?" Hiss. Many skirts sucked in the cold air, darling, this is Patriarch Huiyun. He has killed countless people in his life, and even many demons fell into his hands, but what about this guy in white clothes, didn't he hear it? Also ask people if they have any opinions. Where does the confidence come from? The white-haired old man laughed in anger, and said coldly, I didn't hear you, forget it, it's useless, go to hell. That he struck out fiercely with both palms, and the aura of the sun and moon burst out, blasting forward like lightning. Everyone around them was far away, but they still felt the rushing wind in front of them, like the roar of rolling thunder, and the sound of the waves. Their true energy was surging, and their clothes were swollen by the impact, and they all retreated backwards. The beautiful woman who fell to the ground looked desperate, this palm was several feet away from her, but it still hit her head. The strong energy sent her flying out again and hit the ground heavily. She was desperate. No matter how strong the guy named Su is, he is still invincible in front of Patriarch Huiyun. Ancestor Huiyun has been practicing for most of his life and his hair is gray. What about him? There is no comparison between the two of them. In a daze, she suddenly heard Su Changge speak. Ancestor Huiyun, right? I'm sorry, you can't even beat the dog at my feet. As soon as this statement came out, there was an uproar around him. Everyone was stunned and looked at Su Changge blankly. Then, they all sneered, feeling like they heard a joke. The powerful figure under the founder of the black market even smiled and said, oh, this guy is quite talented, but it's a pity that it's easy to brag too much. Before he finished speaking, he suddenly heard Su Changge say lightly, bite. Yes, master. Boom. Suddenly, a huge figure appeared in the void. It was all white and filled with a noble aura. It seemed to contain extremely pure noble blood. It overflowed with extreme coercion and darkened the sky. When everyone looked up, they were immediately horrified. I saw a burst of lightning flashing across the dim dome, filled with a threatening pressure. The snow-white body seemed to span eternity, and an incomparably huge behemoth was entrenched there, with bloody murderous intent in its pupils, overlooking the white-haired old man. Xiao did not turn into a human form, she would only show her human form to her master. Roar, bite sword. A powerful wave erupted, like a ferocious beast erupting on the ground. The destructive power swept out and crushed downwards. Puff, the white-haired old man suddenly felt an invisible mountain crushing down and hitting his head hard. There was a cracking sound in his bones and joints. His head was violently displaced and he shrank downwards. He was crushed under the strong pressure. Compressed into the chest. Hiss. Oh my God. Countless people trembled. What kind of power was this? Just a roar, as if a big hand slapped down, and directly drove the head of Patriarch Huiyun into the chest cavity. Boom, he struck out with his palm, sweeping through it with terrifying fluctuations. His big hand was like an ancient sacred mountain crushing down, covering the white-haired old man. No. No. I was wrong, I don't want the money anymore, The spirit of the white-haired old man screamed hysterically, powerlessly begging for mercy. Boom, with one palm, the white-haired old man was reduced to ashes, his spirit and soul were wiped out, and not even his body was left behind. The earth was also implicated, and a large handprint was forcibly made, and the surrounding land collapsed downwards. Chapter 34. A powerful figure apologizes, and the amnesty token is issued. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Effortlessly, Patriarch Huiyun was destroyed in an instant. Everyone was stunned. He was stunned in place, with an expression on his face as if he had seen the ground collapse. The ground was sinking, and the end of the world was coming. It was unbelievable. Is this true? That ancestor Huiyun was photographed and disappeared as soon as we met him. Oh my! Do you want to be so scary? What kind of monster is this? Why have I never seen it before? I don't know, but looking at the aura erupting from my body, there must be a high concentration of terrifying blood. As a strong man in the golden body realm, I can't breathe under the pressure of that bloodline explosion. Hiss. It's so scary. Many people were shocked for a long time and finally recovered. The powerful figure of the founder of the black market was even more frightened and his scalp was numb. Hey, before he could even finish his words, he was slapped in the face. His face turned pale with fear and he quickly covered his mouth. Just now they were all wearing beard jackets, hope no one heard. He kept comforting himself in his heart. On the ground beside her, the beautiful woman was extremely shocked, her eyes widened, and she was dumbfounded. Oh my God, what did she see? A monster that almost covered the sun suddenly appeared, and with a roar, Patriarch Huiyun's head moved directly. Then with another slap, Patriarch Huiyun evaporated from the world. Even the terrain has been drastically changed. She sucked in the cold air and couldn't hide the shock in her heart. Can't believe this is true. After coming back to her senses, she finally understood why Changge gave the silver-backed flame wolf to the owner of the auction house. That's not generous. But there is no need at all. With such a terrifying monster following him, why would he need the flaming wolf? Waste food? After killing Ancestor Huiyun, Shi jumped down from the void and came to Changge's side, rubbing his nose against his hand in a very intimate manner. Master, that person just now was too weak. I just made a sound and his head was compressed into his chest. It was so funny. Changge actually thought it was quite funny, but he also understood that it was because of bloodline suppression. Although Qiu's cultivation level is only in the back realm, he has the blessing of the bloodline of the ancient ferocious beasts, and the power he unleashes is extremely terrifying, far beyond the comparison of Huiyun Patriarch. Xie, you go back first. With a thought, he was put back into the system space. Immediately, Changge jumped into the collapsed ground. As soon as he jumped in, he suddenly felt as if he was in the big handprint of Tathagata's palm, and the ground collapsed hundreds of feet downward, like a moat. The control of the devouring power was perfect. Although it killed the white-haired old man, it did not destroy the treasure on him. Things exploded all over the moat, shining with golden light. Changge stepped forward and picked them up one by one. There are a total of 2 storage rings, for low-grade spiritual weapons, a rusty iron block for unknown purposes, some elixirs, and some other scattered spiritual stones. Don't look at the scattered spiritual stones, there are still 17,000, and they are all high-grade spiritual stones containing pure spiritual energy. And the reason why it is scattered is that compared with the money Changge has now, it is completely insufficient. If it had been in the past, it would not have been scattered in pieces, but a huge amount of money. After picking it up for a while, after making sure that nothing was missing, Changge jumped out of the moat and returned to Limian. After coming out, he glared at those powerful figures fiercely. The powerful figure suddenly trembled, and one of the burly figures who looked like a leader hurriedly came out, cupped his hands and said, Master, just now we were blind and unable to see Taishan. This is a small amount of compensation. Please ignore the past grudges and accept this with a smile. This powerful figure tried his best to put on a smile. He was almost scared to death. When Changge came out of the underground city just now, what was he? Changge is gone. Do you still need people to be mentally prepared? But now. Not only is Changge gone, but Patriarch Huiyun is gone. He felt his face burning, as if someone had slapped him hard in the mouth. His heart was also trembling, hoping that the other party would not care about him. This is. Changge took what he handed over and his eyes suddenly lit up. This is a brand made of pure gold, as big as a human head, like a shield, with various strange patterns engraved on it. It looks like a treasure, but I don't know how to use it. Young master, I don't know. This is an amnesty token. It is a specialty of the black market. You can exchange it for a high-end treasure map from the creator of the black market. The leader of the powerful figure explained. Changge was shocked. It turns out this is the amnesty token. I heard from my beautiful master a few years ago that amnesty tokens are extremely valuable, and the high-level treasure maps exchanged for them can dig out extremely rare items. The beautiful master once dug it out and obtained an alien beast element. That is what the monster beast uses. Once it is absorbed by the monster beast, the monster beast can undergo an earth-shaking transformation, evolve its bloodline, and become more powerful. Okay, when you see me in the future, bend down and call me Big Brother. I'll just regard today's matter as a thing of the past. Changge glanced at the powerful leader and said coldly. Yes. Whenever we see you in the future, we will call you Big Brother immediately. Several powerful figures said in unison. As he spoke, he also breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, Changge nodded, then glanced at the people beside him who were gloating just now, and said coldly, I don't want to dirty my hands. I understand. Brother. Several powerful figures took action instantly. Iron fists came through the air, and swords were everywhere. The swords suddenly sounded in the field that in just the blink of an eye. Those people who came out of the black market to gloat about the misfortune were all killed and turned into cold corpses. Not bad, I'm very satisfied. Changge nodded. I have to say, it feels good to have a few younger brothers. Immediately, he groped for a while on those people. Surprisingly, nothing was found, but a lot of spiritual stones were found, a total of more than 30,000 high-grade spiritual stones. Changge thought for a while and felt that these people must have entered the black market and sold everything they had on them and converted them into money. Immediately, he planned to return to the sect. The things have been sold and the money has been obtained. Next, it is time to find the beautiful master to get tens of billions of subsidies. He turned around and prepared to leave, but at this moment, he suddenly had an idea and remembered that there was one last thing he had not done, that is, kill the beautiful woman. At this time, the beautiful woman suddenly struggled to get up and asked, Brother, where are you going? Changge raised his eyebrows. This woman is simply immortal and strong, her vitality is so tenacious, the white-haired old man's palm didn't kill her. Immediately he waved his hand and said coldly, Get ready to return to the sect. Well, the beautiful woman spit out a mouthful of blood and said sadly, Can I go with you? Changge's eyes narrowed. This woman actually wants to go back with him. Why? Chapter 35, Dark and Windy Night of Murder. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Because. The beautiful woman's eyes dodge. Because my husband was killed, I have nowhere to go. Please take me in, can you? That her plan hasn't been implemented yet, and she doesn't want to let this fat sheep go. She must get the dragon-slaying knife. But when the bite appeared just now, when she saw the bite, her eyes shone fiercely, and she wanted to get the bite even more. As she spoke, the beautiful woman was also looking at the corpses around her, and even at the moat where Patriarch Xuanhuan died. Although she was frightened, she was even more determined. Get the dragon-slaying knife, then use it to subdue the monster and use it as your own. At that time, she will have transformed into a gorgeous person, and the sparrow will turn into a phoenix. Who else dares to stand in front of her? This is a rare opportunity, give it a try. Pfft. Changge laughed fiercely, a miserable sale. That's okay, I'll make it really miserable for you. He said calmly, Okay, then you can follow me. Changge didn't want to take her back to the sect, but he wanted to find a place to kill her. You are seriously injured, take this elixir. He took out another ghost soul jade spirit pill and handed it over. This stone is of extremely high quality. According to his calculations, it is enough to speed up the transformation of a beautiful woman into blood dozens of times. It originally took a month, but after taking this one, it only takes 3 hours. Originally, Changge planned to save this one for later use, but now he can't wait to see this beautiful woman die. What a fool. The beautiful woman's eyes flashed with an expression like she was looking at a fool for a moment, then she took the elixir and swallowed it in one gulp. After a while, the internal injuries were more than half healed, but she felt like there was something different in her body, and her heart suddenly felt a pain that could not come up. She didn't care either. This guy surnamed Su has strong limbs and a simple mind. Does he have as much insight as himself? Immediately, the two began to return in the direction of Taishian Dao's sect. Along the way, she kept saying compliments, but Changge just smiled and didn't take it seriously. Time passed by slowly, and an hour passed in the blink of an eye, and it was dusk. The sun sets over the west mountain, and there is a touch of the setting sun, giving a feeling of desolation. After another half an hour, the wind gradually started to rise. The moon was dark and the wind was high, the whole world became pitch black, and it was impossible to see even one's fingers. Boom! Crash! Suddenly, a flash of lightning flashed through the void, and lightning flashed and thunder roared in an instant. Then came the downpour. Raindrops as big as soybeans fell from the sky, hitting the ground with a crackling sound. The beautiful woman was overjoyed and suggested, "Brother, the rain is too heavy and it's dark, so we might as well find a place to spend the night." That she sensed that her opportunity had come. It's a murderous night with a dark moon and high wind. That plan can finally be implemented. Her confidence mainly comes from life experience. She had seen in the classics that many strong men dominated the world and dominated the world. But in the end, it all fell on the woman. The reason is simple. First of all, those strong men rarely have women in trouble. Secondly, they are not on guard against women either. After all, what offensive power does a woman have? It was precisely because of their carelessness that they did not die in the hands of a stronger man, but in the hands of a weak woman. At the moment, the darkness of the night obscured the greedy murderous intent in the beautiful woman's eyes, and her heart was beating wildly with great excitement. The treasure was at her fingertips. How could she not be excited? But after saying these words, she suddenly felt that the pain in her heart suddenly increased several times. This made her face turn pale, thinking that it must be because Patriarch Huiyun's palm was too strong, and the elixir just now was not completely repaired. "Okay, then it's up to you." Changge sneered and agreed to her directly. Calculating the time, there is only 1.5 hours left for the medicine to take effect. "Well, there is a ruined temple in the distance, let's go there." That the beautiful woman pointed not far away. Changge looked around and saw that the walls of the ruined temple had collapsed, leaving only the main hall, which was weak in the violent storm. Soon, the two entered the ruined temple. The temple is very dilapidated, with spider webs everywhere on the doors and windows. This is a Buddhist temple. I don't know when it was built. Since no one has cleaned it for many years, the main hall is filled with floating ash. The smell of old ash is extremely pungent. Changge waved his hand, and a hurricane swept out, quickly clearing a clean place. He took out a blanket from his storage bag and sat on it. In the darkness, the beautiful woman's black eyes revealed extreme greed and madness. She closed the door of the main hall, then walked over, and said bitterly in her heart, "Son, if you enter this ruined temple, you will not get out alive." Boom! Boom! That it was pouring rain outside. Thunder and lightning roared, deafening, like a bombardment in Rao's heart, making people palpitate. Chapter 36 Grandpa type Golden Finger is online. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Time passed by slowly, and another hour passed in the blink of an eye. At this time, there is only half an hour left before the effect of the ghost soul Biming Ling Dan explodes. At this time, the beautiful woman suddenly felt a sharp pain in her heart, as if she was being burned by a fire. The pain was heartbreaking. "Damn ancestor Huiyun," that she cursed angrily, endured the severe pain, and took out a packet of medicinal powder from her body. The medicinal powder is pitch black as ink, and you can tell it is poison at a glance, but it exudes a sweet fragrance that makes people feel relaxed and happy. The beautiful woman took out a cup from her body and poured the medicinal powder into it. Then she went outside to get some water and stirred it to spread the medicinal powder evenly. This medicinal powder can knock people down within 3 breaths, making them weak and falling into a deep sleep. I fell asleep within a quarter of an hour. When it falls asleep, she can kill it with a hidden arrow. This is the evil plan. Then, she returned to the main hall, approached Changge, and said softly, "Brother, do you want a drink of water?" Then, she took a sip first. "I can't bear to let the child trap the wolf." And the tip of her tongue so she is not afraid. After finishing the drink, she whispered, "Brother, you don't dislike your sister, do you?" "I don't mind it." Changge smiled faintly, took the cup, and with a burst of pressure in his body, he scorched the water in the cup dry, and then pretended to drink it all in one gulp. In the darkness, his mouth did not touch the cup, and the beautiful woman could not see it. And he also knew that if this woman invited him to drink water for no reason, she would be up to no good. When you go out, be on guard against others. Especially women have the most poisonous hearts, so beware of them. And there was only the last half hour left, all he had to do was wait. Brother, go to sleep. Seeing that he had finished drinking the water, the beautiful woman whispered. Yes. Changge pretended to obey her, slowly lay down, and waited for the time to come. After a while, snoring came from his nose. It was just a slight snoring at first, but soon it became thunderous. This is what he pretended to be. He wanted to see what tricks this beautiful woman was up to. Are you asleep? The beautiful woman was no fool. She touched his breath, and when she was sure he was asleep, she grinned. Ha ha ha, I endured it all the way and finally found the opportunity. That precious sword, that tyrannical monster, and that huge amount of spiritual stones are all mine. Ha ha ha, that she laughed excitedly and immediately took out the hidden arrow from her body. The meter-long hidden arrow burst out with a dazzling cold light, like a wolf in the dark baring its fangs and trying to kill someone. Aha! In a flash of lightning, the beautiful woman used all her strength, aimed the arrow at Changge's heart, and stabbed it hard. So this is her method. It's too true. Changge had a bright mind, smiled secretly, and prepared to wake up, but at this moment, the mutation suddenly broke out. The storage bag suddenly seemed to sense something, and the light shined brightly, and a ray of light flew out. It turned out to be a jade bracelet. Bitch, you're looking for death. An angry roar came from inside the jade bracelet. It was extremely old, and there was a terrifying coercion erupting, like a tsunami rolling, terrifying. The beautiful woman was shocked. Changge was overjoyed and laughed in his heart. Grandpa is online. Ha ha ha, I guessed it right, this bracelet really has a secret. The next moment, a grey-robed figure appeared from inside the bracelet and appeared in front of the beautiful woman. This is an old man, his beard and hair are all grey, he is just an afterimage, but the aura on his body is unparalleled, like a vast and boundless galaxy. I see that this child's constitution is transparent, without any impurities. It is a good piece of material. If you grow up in the future, you will surely become an unparalleled powerhouse. When that time comes, if I seize the body, my cultivation will be greatly improved. If you kill him, how can I take his body away? I'm looking for death. The beautiful woman's face turned pale all of a sudden, and she fell to the ground. She knew what kind of old monster she had encountered, and said in a trembling voice, it turns out that you have also targeted him. The woman doesn't know. The woman deserves to die. Why? Please hold your hand high. Changge's eyes narrowed and he suddenly realized, damn, my experience is indeed a little different. I thought this old man was just like the others in the book, he was here to help me, but who knows, it turns out that this guy wants to wait until he grows up, and then just pick up the ready-made ones and seize them. Missed grass, old silver coin. At this moment, Changge really wanted to curse. What kind of world was he wearing? He couldn't let himself wear a brainless novel. Why are the villains so smart? I have lived for endless years, so I naturally know the fate of the Holy Mother. But I won't kill you, I will use you to gain this kid's trust. Originally, I tried so hard to figure out how to gain his trust. Your appearance just helped me a lot. Stupid woman, thank you for helping me. I want to thank your 8 generations of ancestors. The remnant soul in grey robe cursed loudly, then waved his hand, and a surge of coercion suddenly lifted Changge up. He stepped forward and pointed at Changge's forehead, and a surge of awakening power penetrated into it. Then he lowered his voice and called kindly, young man, wake up. Chapter 37 Kill with One Strike. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Changge slowly opened his eyes, as if he was really awakened. He slowly woke up, he looked around, pretending to be puzzled, and said, who are you, what happened? The grey robe remnant smiled kindly, and said earnestly, young man, you don't know, just now this vicious woman wanted to harm you, fortunately I found it in time, otherwise. Seeing that the matter was exposed, the beautiful woman's face became paler and paler, as if blood was leaking drop by drop. Her face was bloodless, like a female ghost. After a few breaths, Changge pretended to understand, and then looked at the beautiful woman, directly mentioned her name, and said coldly, Xuanhuan, your husband was killed by the ghost-faced demon cultivator, and you were defiled. I arrived in time and saved you, right? Yes, you are right. The beautiful woman said ashamedly. When you left the black pine forest, you were seriously injured, and I took out the healing medicine and gave it to you to help you recover, right? Yes, yes. The beautiful woman dodged her eyes. In Dunhuang City, those people cut their tongues, but you didn't, and I didn't make things difficult for you, right? That the beautiful woman lowered her head and said nothing. Changge continued, just now when we left the black market, you were beaten by the fire cloud patriarch and were seriously injured. It was me who took out the elixir to save you, right? That the beautiful woman's eyes dodged, her face ashamed. Changge's eyes became cold, staring at the dark arrow in her hand with a cold light, and asked in a deep voice, I saved you so many times, and this is how you repay me? That the beautiful woman's scalp numbed, knowing that she was doomed today, she knelt down with a plop, and cried bitterly, Brother. No, sir, it's my sister's fault, my sister is obsessed, it's obsessed. Don't take it to heart, my sister is really blinded by the treasure, please don't be angry with me. Pa, Changge slapped her face hard. Ah! The beautiful woman screamed like a pig being slaughtered, and a bloody slap mark was slapped on her face, and she flew backwards. It was raining heavily outside, with lightning and thunder, and the ground was already full of mud. The beautiful woman smashed the window and fell heavily in the rain, wailing in pain. Changge's mind moved, and the dragon-slaying sword appeared in his hand. The heavy giant blade burst out with bloodthirsty murderous intent. Changge held it, as if the god of death was approaching, and walked closer to the beautiful woman step by step. The beautiful woman was so scared that her soul flew away. She didn't care about so much. She banged her head and cried loudly, No. Don't kill me, I want to live, I really don't want to die, please brother, I am willing to use my body to make amends, please don't kill me. Body, Changge smiled coldly. Sorry. It's touched by others, I think it's dirty, crack. The dragon-slaying sword chopped down mercilessly. Help. Help. Help, the beautiful woman shouted, but this dilapidated temple was deserted and there was no one around, no one responded, no matter how she called. It was a dark and windy night, a murderous night. So. I took him to the black market, helped him auction, helped him raise the price. In the end, it was all in vain. Before she died, the beautiful woman was enlightened. Looking at the rapidly approaching dragon-slaying sword, she closed her eyes in despair. Crack, at this moment, there was a sudden explosion in her body, her heart was corroded and turned into blood. This. What's going on, why is it, the beautiful woman's face changed instantly. Pain in her body. Heart-piercing pain. It was like tens of thousands of ants were biting and eating her internal organs crazily. Pain to despair, heart-wrenching pain. Heart-wrenching. No. No. This is not the palm of Huyan Patriarch, this is. There is something wrong with the medicine I took. At the last moment of her life, she seemed to understand something, and a different light flashed in her eyes, so, crack. Just as these thoughts flashed through her mind, the dragon-slaying sword was already approaching, and it hit her head heavily. Her head was broken into pieces and exploded, and red and white things mixed with the broken skull splashed and splashed in the rain. At the same time as it exploded, the medicinal effect of the ghost Biming Lingdan completely erupted, and her limbs began to disintegrate and corrode, making a strong corrosion sound of sizzling, but in the blink of an eye, all the flesh on her body turned into blood and merged into the mud, and then the remaining bones were also corroded and turned into dust, leaving nothing behind. He left very quickly, leaving nothing behind. She didn't even have time to hate. Swish, after killing this person, Changge thought about it, and the dragon-slaying sword was received in the system space. He originally planned not to do anything, but to wait for her to turn into blood, but after the grey-robed afterimage appeared, he changed his mind. Killing Xuanhuan was to show it to the grey-robed afterimage. This old silver coin is much more scheming than Xuanhuan, but, how could he be afraid? At this time, the grey-robed afterimage spoke. Young man. Chapter 38. Grandpa is on the first floor, I am in the atmosphere. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Young man, kill well. Kill well. It's a pleasure, that the grey-robed shadow laughed heartily. Not only was the big stone in his heart relieved, but Changge felt happy. This kind of decisive character is exactly what he wants, and he likes it very much. Changge nodded and said calmly, Old senior, may I ask who you are? Oh, I forgot to introduce you. My name is Dark Soul Emperor. I come from the Dark Soul Palace, a huge force that existed countless billions of years ago. Back then I moved mountains to chase the moon and split Huashan with all my strength, but it was a pity, alas, that the Dark Soul Emperor was about to continue when Changge waved his hand and interrupted, Senior, no need to say any more, you must have been very powerful before, and you were an insurmountable mountain in the eyes of countless strong men, that he had seen this routine countless times in his previous life. It's just that this remnant soul used to be very powerful, but then died for some reason, leaving only a trace of the remnant soul, which was stored on a certain object, and then happened to be found by the protagonist. It's such a coincidence, very bloody. The Dark Soul Emperor was slightly startled and said to himself, this guy has a very sharp mind. I saw the right person, not a fool. He naturally doesn't want to occupy the body, but with a smart person, it will be much easier for the two parties to communicate, and it will also be of great benefit when fighting over each other in the future. Young man, we are all smart people, so let me spread my words. This is a world where one person eats and eats. There are countless strong men and women, groups of wives and concubines, enjoying everything. Weak people deserve to die. They are all king's saddles and stepping stones. So you have to break through quickly and strive to become stronger as soon as possible. That the Dark Soul Emperor smiled happily. As luck would have it, I happen to know where the treasures are buried in the Eastern Domain. I can help you get those treasures. Let you break through quickly. How about it, are you excited or not? That this world is called the Xuanhuan realm, and it is divided into 5 realms, East, West, South, North, and Middle. The names are also very simple. The East Realm, the West Realm, the last realm is called the Xianxia realm. The corner of Changge's mouth curled up slightly in a strange arc, but it disappeared in the blink of an eye, and then he said calmly, Thank you, Senior, for your help. I am very grateful to you, that you want to train me as soon as possible and then take over my body, right? Old silver coin, your abacus is pretty good. It's a pity that you are in the first layer and I am in the atmosphere. You're welcome. If I'm photographed by you, then I'm destined to be with you, so I'll naturally help you. That the Dark Soul Emperor looked pleasant, but secretly said in his heart, you will repay this kindness in the future. That as soon as he finished speaking, the Dark Soul Emperor's figure suddenly dimmed, as if he could no longer maintain his figure, and he lost his voice and said, Oops, in my desperation just now, I consumed too much spiritual power and it's overdrawn. I can't maintain my figure now. Changge's heart felt like a mirror, probably because his soul remnant body had exhausted its strength and could no longer maintain it. Young man, when you need to use me, just put a piece of spiritual stone next to the bracelet. I will wake up after I absorb it. Remember, it is the best spiritual stone. After the Dark Soul Emperor finished, his figure returned to the jade bracelet and fell into a deep sleep. Changge patted his forehead and sneered in his heart, if you provoke me, you are not far from death. Who is he? Time traveler. Systematic cheater. And he is also familiar with the massive memories of routines from his previous life. If you want to torture a remnant soul to death, why not press him to the ground and rub him hard? Just like now, if you don't give him the spiritual stone, he will fall asleep directly, just like a dead person. When you are no longer of use, I will kill you with one strike. Changge thought to himself. Immediately, he re-entered the ruined temple and slept until dawn. Second, the color has cleared up and there is a refreshing earthy fragrance in the air. After walking out of the ruined temple, Changge raised a sword, rose into the air, and flew towards the sect. Along the way, he was also taking stock of the gains from the descent. Those miscellaneous and worthless things are gone. Just a remnant soul of the Dark Soul Emperor is an endless treasure. The Dark Soul Emperor has lived for endless years and has many treasure burial locations in his mind. There is no need to be sure that each one is scarier than the last. Then, he began to take inventory of the spiritual stones. At the beginning, he killed Xuanhuan and got 3,000 high-grade spiritual stones. After entering the black market, he was given 10,000 top-grade spiritual stones by a wealthy man. He also obtained 450,000 high-grade spiritual stones at auction. After he came out, he killed a group of people and obtained another 10,000 high-grade spiritual stones. More than 30,000 yuan, 0 and 0 total, excluding fractions. The total is 480,000 high-grade spiritual stones and 10,000 top-grade spiritual stones. This is a huge sum of money. If an excessive critical hit is triggered, won't you immediately become rich after receiving the subsidy? The only way to relieve worries is to get rich suddenly. Oh yeah, Changge smiled cheerfully, and immediately activated the long sword with all his strength. The long sword buzzed like a bolt of lightning piercing the sky, heading back towards the sect. It didn't take long for him to arrive successfully. After setting our feet on the ground, we went straight to the hospital. Master, I'm back. Looking at the courtyard from a distance, he couldn't help shouting. Disciple. The beautiful master's joyful voice came from the courtyard. Quick, I've been waiting for you for a long time. The door is not closed, just come in. Squeak. Changge pushed the door open and saw Xianxia's pretty face with crystal clear white face. Master, I have a surprise for you. He took out the storage bag and said generously, there are 480,000 spiritual stones in this, and there are also 10,000 top-quality spiritual stones. Take them and spend them as you like. To treat a woman, you have to hit her hard with money. Xianxia was shocked. She took the storage bag and opened it. Her mouth suddenly opened wide. This. She was full of disbelief. You, disciple, where did you get so many spirit stones? This, too much. As a barren mountain, Lihua Peak does not have many resources, and everything is self-reliant. Because there are not so many disciples, the sect master will naturally not allocate resources here, so Xianxia does not have many spirit stones in her hands, only a few tens of thousands of top-grade spirit stones. But now, Changge gave her 480,000 top-grade spirit stones as soon as he made a move, and an additional 10,000 top-grade ones. This surprised and shocked her. Disciple, am I dreaming? No. Changge took her into his arms and smiled lightly. Master, we will not be short of money in the future. Being held in his arms, Xianxia's body trembled. When she sensed the masculine breath, she immediately realized that this was not a dream. She was overjoyed and said, Disciple, you are not a person with great luck, and you can get so many spirit stones. Changge smiled. The beautiful master attributed the reason why she obtained so many spirit stones to chance, but it was true. Everyone in the fantasy world had their own chance. Xianxia looked at her with affectionate eyes, and felt that her disciple was good, her disciple was fragrant, and her disciple was a light in her life. Suddenly, she felt worried and asked, But disciple, you gave me all these spirit stones, what will you do? Me? I'll just do whatever I want. Changge smiled lightly, not caring at all. At this moment, Xianxia suddenly remembered something, and suddenly became angry, saying, By the way, disciple, Typhon sent people while you were away. Typhon. Changge's face changed. What are they doing here? Chapter 39 Triggering an overloaded critical hit, 170 billion spirit stones. Get rich instantly. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yesterday, just after you left, the weird old man at Typhon sent his most respected person to pass on the message, threatening and coercing. That disciple is called Xuanhuan Kong. He spoke wildly yesterday, saying that he would disqualify Lihua Peak from participating in the martial arts competition. What? Changge's face suddenly changed when he heard it, and he was furious. Why disqualify Lihua Peak? Doesn't Lihua Peak deserve it? Xianxia was indignant and continued, I strongly opposed it at that time and could not agree, because it was the face of Li Hua Peak. But Hu Yuankong was so good that he actually used Li Hua Peak's only disciple, who could not practice and was not qualified to participate in the martial arts competition, to suppress me and make me angry, that she didn't know that Su Changge had already undergone a revolutionary change. At the moment of speaking, she was also unfair for Su Changge. Why, can't you participate if you can't practice? The master clearly said that all disciples can participate, regardless of grade. But why are they treated differently when they come to Li Hua Peak? She vaguely guessed that this was not the intention of the sect master. It was the suggestion of the weird old man at Taifeng. The weird old man has always looked down on Li Hua Peak, almost looking at people through the cracks of the door and looking down on them. Crack. Su Changge clenched his fists, his heart was filled with thunder and anger. When the martial arts competition comes, I will make a big splash and let master see my strength, that he shouted loudly in his heart. At the same time, he also made a decision. When the martial arts competition comes, he will sweep all the disciples of Taifeng alone and slap the weird old man's face. Yi Qingyao was so angry that her face turned blue, and she said angrily, "What's more annoying is that Hu Yuankong relied on the weird old man's support behind him and said bluntly that Li Hua Peak was not worthy of participating. I was so angry at the time that I slapped him away with a palm, that if Su Changge hadn't been unable to practice, she wouldn't have been so angry. But even so, she was willing. Although the beloved disciple cannot practice, he cannot be humiliated by others." A fire ignited in Su Changge's heart, the anger grew more and more intense, a murderous intent suddenly emerged in his eyes. Hu Yuankong is a talent under the strange old man's seat. He has a strong cultivation base and has already entered the Dharma realm. He is a talent of the 8th level of the Dharma realm. This cultivation base is much higher than his real strength. But how can I be afraid? Dare to threaten the master and humiliate Li Hua Peak, I will kill you, Su Changge said hatefully. Although his current strength is far behind Hu Yuankong, he has a way. The subsidy from the system has not arrived yet. Once it arrives, he will definitely become rich. When the time comes, he will be able to crush Hu Yuankong after absorbing it. At this moment, he suddenly thought of Hu Han. Coincidentally, Hu Han happened to be Hu Yuankong's twin brother. The two brothers are both from Taifeng, and neither of them is a good thing. Crack. Su Changge clenched his fists and said angrily in his heart, "Hu Han, I will kill your brother first, and then I will kill you at the martial arts competition." Immediately, he looked at Yi Qingyao and said, "Master, please rest assured. When the martial arts competition comes, I will make you proud. Let Taifeng, no, not only Taifeng, but all the peaks of the entire sect look at Li Hua Peak with new eyes." Hearing this, Yi Qingyao smiled and shook her head gently. Disciple can't practice, but can't stand this anger, men are all face-saving, she understands, and then gently persuaded, "Okay, disciple, don't act on impulse, no matter what happens, the master will block it for you." Su Changge was slightly moved, more determined to make the beautiful master proud. Disciple will take his leave first. He said goodbye to Yi Qingyao and left the courtyard, just returned to the residence. The system subsidy arrived on time. Ding! You sent out a top-grade spirit stone and a top-grade spirit stone. The 10 billion subsidy takes effect, triggering an overcritical strike. This overcritical strike multiple, 369,000 times. Congratulations to the host for obtaining a top-grade spirit stone, a top-grade spirit stone. Fuck, Su Changge was shocked and overjoyed. On the system interface, there were so many zeros at the end that Su Changge was almost dazzled. He couldn't count how many zeros there were. The number was too big. Think about it, 480,000 top-grade spirit stones, multiplied by 10 billion, how much is it? And then multiply this 10 billion by 369,000 times, how much is it? Such a large number can certainly be displayed on the system interface, but he was dazzled at first glance and couldn't count it at all. It took him half a day to finally count it. A total of more than 170 billion top-grade spirit stones and 360 million top-grade spirit stones. Hiss. Horrible number, Su Changge's mouth twitched. He was overjoyed. This is what it means to be rich, that if he absorbs so many spirit stones, wouldn't his cultivation level break through several realms? In this way, killing Xuanhuan is like crushing an ant. Hahaha, so cool, Xuanhuan, you won't live through today, that he laughed loudly, then closed the door tightly, and then stepped into the system space to absorb spirit stones. Seeing him coming, Shi turned into a human form with a thought, greeted him, and whispered, Master. Chapter 40, The Cultivation Level Skyrocketed, Entering the Blood-Moving Realm. You are listening at novelfull.audio. She leaned close to Su Changge and rubbed her nose against his body intimately. This is smelling. Su Changge smiled lightly and said, I'm going to absorb the spirit stone, that the huge amount of spiritual stones are all piled up in the system space. At first glance, they look like a golden mountain, shining and dazzling. It's also thanks to the system space. If it were a storage bag, it wouldn't be able to hold so many spiritual stones. The wise disciple sat aside quietly and looked at him with sharp eyes. Su Changge walked to Xianxia mountain, put his palm on it, and with a thought, began to absorb it quickly. Buzz, the huge amount of spiritual energy in the spiritual stone was extremely rich, and turned into dazzling golden light one after another, entering his body. At this moment, Su Changge felt as if his body had turned into the eye of the sea. The rich spiritual energy was endless, entering the body one after another, pouring into the limbs and bones, and flowing turbulently through the meridians. He could clearly feel that the spiritual energy in his body was becoming abundant at an extremely fast speed, and the meridians and muscles were bulging again. After the spiritual energy enters the body, within a moment, it is transformed into power. The power is skyrocketing. Boom, the cultivation base has also begun to skyrocket. Breakthrough. The 6th level of the Golden Body Realm. The 8th level of the Golden Body. The 9th level of the Golden Body Realm. Half-step method. Boom, Dharma Realm. The 1st level of Dharma Realm. The 5th level of Dharma Realm. The 8th level of Dharma Realm. Half a step to move the blood. Boom, moving to the 1st level of Blood Realm. Moving to the 3rd level of Blood Realm. Moving to the 5th level of Blood Realm. Moving to the 7th level of the Blood Realm. After the Dharma Realm, there is the Blood-Moving Realm. This cultivation level can move all the hot blood in the body and concentrate the attack. Once it breaks out, the whole body's power will be blessed, and the endless physical treasures in the body will be opened, and the destructive power is extremely frightening. For ordinary people to break through to this realm, they need a terrifying amount of resources. But Su Changge has a system, so this is not a problem. After breaking through 3 major realms in a row, Su Changge let out a long breath of turbid air, his eyes flashing with light, as if he contained endless power. If he punched it out, it might be able to destroy mountains. More than 170 billion high-grade spiritual stones were absorbed, fully half of which was absorbed. And more than 300 million top-quality spiritual stones can absorb more than half. He tried to make a fist, and the bones and joints all over his body were suddenly affected, making a crisp sound of clicking, and the endless hot blood in his body also surged, making the sound of thousands of troops galloping onto the battlefield. The whole body was pounding and the bones were boiling. It's like thunder, deafening. Hiss. Did you actually gain so much strength? He was shocked to find that with the breakthrough, his strength also skyrocketed, and he could explode with a terrifying force of 2 million kilograms with just one finger. If he punched him like this, he might be able to turn Xuanhuan into ashes. Master is so awesome. In the distance, Chiu murmured softly, his eyes shining brightly, and his tail swaying gently behind him. Just when Su Changge was about to continue absorbing it, he suddenly felt a breath from the outside approaching the room. His eyes narrowed. Immediately after thinking, the figure immediately returned to the house. Next moment. Boom. The door was kicked open and became a mess, and a young man with a sinister face walked in. The young man's leopard head was ringed with eyes, and his body was extremely strong, like a giant bear in human form. He glanced at Su Changge and said bitterly, "You were the one who killed my cousin." Su Changge raised his eyebrows and understood immediately. He recognized this person. He was Wang Shan's cousin. His name was Wang Ba. His strength was much higher than that of Wang Shan. He was Wang Shan's backer and his cultivation was at the 9th level of Dharma. Wang Shan talks about his cousin all day long, saying in words that he is awesome on the outside, who dares to touch him. Now Wang Ba is here to kill him. If his prediction is correct, he should be the one to avenge Wang Shan. But Su Changge was also curious. His clothes were so flawless, how could Wang Ba catch any clues? "Are you so sure that I was the one who killed you?" Su Changge said coldly without changing his expression. "If you wrongly accuse someone, aren't you afraid of being struck by lightning?" "Ha ha ha. You're talking nonsense." Wang Ba laughed loudly. "I made a special trip to check my cousin's whereabouts, and his whereabouts stopped after he came to Lihua Peak. As expected, he died at Lihua Peak." All right, Su Changge understood. "I really want to scold my mother. What kind of rubbish world do I wear? Why are the villains so smart? They have learned Detective Conan-style reasoning. Thinking back on those mindless articles, how cool it is, just mindless and happy all the way. But what about yourself? Grass. Son, stop trying to quibble and just follow me to the execution hall." Wang Ba shouted coldly, thrust out his big hand and pressed it on Su Changge's shoulder. The torture hall is a place where disciples are punished. As long as the disciples make mistakes or are suspected, they will be arrested immediately. Many disciples' faces changed wildly when they heard the name of the execution hall. Without him. As long as you enter the torture hall, you will have to shed your skin even if you don't die. Of course Su Changge couldn't go. He smiled coldly and said angrily, "Okay, I will come to Lihua Peak to run wild in Guanghua Day. You can't even think of leaving here today." Killing one is killing, killing two is killing. He doesn't mind killing Wang Ba.